in that opulent restaurant, where every detail screamed indulgence and excess. She insisted on pristine ivory tablecloths stretched taut across the tables and forced smiles plastered on the faces of her companions. Their laughter rang out sharp and hollow, clinking endlessly against the refilled wine goblets as if trying to drown out something deeper. I sat confined in the corner of the booth, a stranger in what was supposed to be my own gathering, swallowed by the glitz and superficiality. Then her words cut through the polished atmosphere like a knife. He's wonderful with children, but he's not a real man. I didn't flinch. I didn't even glance her way. I simply raised a glass of water to my lips and took a deliberate sip, letting her venom sink quietly into the depths of the room. She threw her head back and laughed, a light, careless sound that was supposed to seem playful, but every syllable dripped with malice. Her friends giggled along, their faces etched into my memory, smug, amused, complicit. I stayed silent, paid the tab, and walked out. Their laughter chased me into the night, fading only when the cold street swallowed it whole. A sleek black SUV pulled up just then. My sister slid into the driver's seat, her Marine Recon tattoo peeking from beneath her dark attire, a woman whose mere presence commanded respect. She gave me a sharp nod. I climbed in as the tinted window rolled up, and through the glass, I caught my wife's smile fracture like fragile glass. We had been joyful once. She cherished my calm steadiness, the way I soothed our son's fears with quiet patience, the meals I prepared when her work hours ran late, the crib I built with nothing but pure devotion. But that love turned bitter when I stopped feeding her vanity, when I took time off work to care for our boy. She mocked me to her friends, calling me tame when I chose our son's music recital over late-night poker games. She scoffed as if I'd abandoned some primitive code of manhood. She yearned for a husband who ruled with iron fists, who barked orders and slammed doors, a man like her father. I wasn't him, and I was grateful for that. Still, I love her far longer than I should have. The first crack wasn't her words. It was a message I wasn't meant to see. Her phone buzzed, and the screen revealed a text, asterisk, he weeps at kids' movies. I married a glorified babysitter. Asterisk, I held that message close, not confronting her, simply watching. I noticed how she cut me off mid-sentence, how she flirted just shyly enough with the barista, the realtor, even our son's pediatrician. I saw the eye rolls when I comforted our boy. Slowly, I began to plot my first move. I pulled back just enough to create space. No fights, no tears, only stillness. Self-fob says people rarely notice the quiet until it becomes deafening. I safeguarded my finances, got a second phone, and began documenting every sharp barb, every demeaning comment she made in front of our son. Every time she called me spineless, I cataloged it all. Then I met with an attorney, a fierce woman with a hunter's gaze and zero tolerance for cruelty. Together, we built a case. Screenshots, bank statements, therapist notes on her erratic moods, all precise and unassailable. Next came the nanny cam, not for our son's sake, but for hers. Within weeks, I had footage of her stumbling home late, a colleague's shirt half undone, her lips stained with someone else's shade as she tucked our boy into bed. I didn't confront her. Instead, I started cooking for two again, smiling wider, holding her hand like a man savoring the calm before the storm. She believed I had forgiven her. The truth was, I had already moved on. That dinner with her friends was my final test. I knew she'd say something cruel. She always did when her clique was around. I needed them to see her true colors. When she spoke, not a real man, I stood, settled the bill, and walked away, leaving her with the silence she deserved. The SUV waited, and as I stepped inside, her world began to unravel. She returned to an empty closet. I took my clothes, my journals, our son's cherished keepsakes, leaving behind a hollow shell of a home. She called 20 times. On the 21st, I answered. "Where are you?" she demanded. "Somewhere peaceful." I said. "You took him," she shrieked. "He wanted to come," I replied. She raged, spewing insults and threats of legal battles. I told her to check her inbox. There was the custody filing, the video evidence, her texts, a roster of character witnesses, and a psychological evaluation from our joint therapist. The final blow, a resignation letter from her boss, forced after I exposed their late-night rendezvous with timestamps and locations. In court, she crumbled. She wept, accused me of being controlling, cold, distant. But the judge saw the footage, heard the recordings, read her texts. In that cold, unforgiving courtroom, the ruling came down. Full custody to me, the house mine, no spousal support. She sat there, mascara running, breath shallow and uneven, defeated. The victory unfolded quietly. I didn't gloat. I moved back in, repainted the walls, built a stronger bookshelf for our son. She drifted away to her sisters, then to a cramped apartment she couldn't afford without her lost promotion. Word reached me through mutual friends. She's quieter now, diminished. I have grown bolder in the ways that matter. My son sleeps soundly, eats well, laughs without fear. Sometimes at the park, he wraps his arms around me for no reason at all, and I wonder how many men would trade their pride for this kind of peace. I never yelled. I never had to. I listened. I observed. I waited. And when the time was right, I let her speak first. The world heard her. Then I made sure it heard me. Because silence isn't weakness. It's where strategy takes root.